when I saw these locally grown sugar pumpkins, I knew there was some autumn vibe treats in the works. Now I purchased these sugar pumpkins and basically just scooped them out after I cut them in half, of course, placed them cut side down onto a baking sheet, and I baked them at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. Now you'll see that they get tender pretty darn quick. Now once these come out of the oven, of course, I let them cool for probably 10 or 15 minutes because they're pretty darn hot when they first come out. But as you can see, nice and tender. And then from there, let them sit, let them cool, and then you can process them. Basically, if you've cooked them until they're that tender in the video, then you should scoop them out very easily just using a spoon. So you can kind of slide the spoon along the inside of the skin, and that way you can get pretty much most of the flesh out. And what you didn't get, you can go back and kind of scrape off the skin. Now I'm going to use this pumpkin flesh, of course, for brownies today, but they could be good in a lot of different things. Whatever I don't use up in baking, of course, I'm going to package up and freeze. With it being fall and everything, I'm ready to go. We're going to get going on our brownies. I'm going to melt 3/4 of a cup of butter, and you can see I've lined a 8x8 pan with parchment. And then we're going to go ahead and put our dry ingredients together. So we have flour, we have baking powder, and we have salt. And then in the other bowl, we are going to combine 1.5 cups of sugar, a little bit of vanilla, and butter. And we're going to whisk that together, stir it together until everything kind of gets emulsified together. And then we're going to crack 3 eggs in there one at a time. Once we have them in there, we will give them a good stir to kind of break up the eggs and incorporate that into our butter and sugar mixture. Now we can add our flour. I'm going to add it in kind of 2 additions. So we're going to stir in half of our dry ingredients first. Gently fold it around. Don't get all willy-nilly like I do. And once we've stirred in that first bit, we're going to add our second half of our dry ingredients. And we will continue to kind of stir that in. Now this is our base to our brownies. Once we have that all mixed through, there's no dry spots, we're going to divide it into 2 bowls. This, of course, will allow us to make our 2 different types of brownie batter. The first one, we're going to add some cocoa to it and gently stir that in as well. Then we'll add some chocolate chips to that. This is, of course, what I would call your classic brownie mixture. I'm also going to add some walnuts to this. Now, if you like walnuts, add them. If you don't, leave them out. We'll give that one last stir just to incorporate the chocolate chips and the walnuts. And then we're going to make our pumpkin brownie. So to our base, we're going to add some pumpkin to that. We're going to add some nutmeg, cloves, and some cinnamon. The classic pumpkin spice flavors. Then we're going to fold that all together just until it's blended. I'm going to start by spooning about half of the chocolate brownie mixture onto the bottom of the pan, and I can spread this out. And then from there, we're going to add kind of a little bit of both types of mixtures on top of that. This will allow, of course, for us to kind of do that marbling effect. Okay, now that looks real good. Super happy with how this turned out. Man, did it smell good when it came out of the oven. We were just, couldn't wait. Beautiful pumpkin spice blended with that rich chocolate. I'm telling you, this was magical. So yeah, this is a big portion. I normally wouldn't eat this big of a portion. However, remember, this was dinner, so it made sense. Now, I was super happy, had a really nice fudgy texture, very moist. Of course, anything that you put pumpkin in is going to be ultra moist, and this lived up to that. So a little scoop of vanilla ice cream on top, and Bob is your uncle. Thank you for joining me.